This technique had me hooked from the moment I tried it. And once I started, I couldn't get enough. All it requires is a gel plate, Play-Doh, acrylic paint, and a brayer. Today I'm also experimenting with inks. The first thing I do is I roll out some Play-Doh on a mat. You can use a rolling pin, but since I don't have one, I use my brayer. There are so many advantages of using Play-Doh on a gel plate. The first is the ability to create custom designs with many different tools. I use different size lids to create a circular design. Of course, you can do this directly on the gel plate as well, but the indents you get with Play-Doh are much deeper. If you're using tools that you might not want to get dirty, like the ones you're going to see me using very soon, then Play-Doh is the perfect solution. Once my design is in place, I roll out the paint using 2 different colors. And since the Play-Doh pieces aren't large enough for my 5x7 gel plate, I press them on the plate and move them around to distribute the design. Then I place my paper on top, apply pressure with my baren, and pull the print. The results are amazing. I get so excited because there's so many possibilities to explore. A great thing about using Play-Doh is that you can ball it up, even with some paint on it, and roll it out again for the next technique. Another advantage is the ability to use stamps from your craft room without getting them covered in paint or ink. I take a beautiful butterfly stamp set and press 2 clear stamps into my freshly rolled Play-Doh, randomly positioning them to create a stunning butterfly pattern. This time, I decide to use Distress Oxide inks. I apply the ink to my gel plate and smooth it out with my brayer. You can use paint instead, as the technique works the same way, but I want to demonstrate how both products work. One reason I sometimes prefer ink is that they don't dry too quickly, allowing me to pull the print immediately. I press my paper, apply pressure with my baren, and lift a beautiful butterfly background. These backgrounds are perfect for cards, art journals, or collaging into mixed media projects. Now imagine creating an actual stamp out of Play-Doh. I take a small piece, roll it out, and press a butterfly stamp into it. Then I use an X-Acto knife to cut around the butterfly shape. This DIY stamp works effortlessly. You can do the same with flowers, birds, or any other stamp. I use my handmade stamp on the gel plate, pressing it in different areas to create a stunning background. Being able to create custom stamps on demand without dirtying my originals, it's a game changer. And if stamps work, I wonder what else would work. Embossing folders? Die cuts? Of course I have to explore. I roll out more Play-Doh and press a flower design embossing folder into it. I want to see both the embossed and debossed prints. This time I use inks, but I later wish I had used paint for a brighter effect. As you'll see in a later experiment, paint produces a much bolder contrast. I roll ink onto my gel plate and take a full print as I want to create a 2-toned effect. Then I choose a darker ink color to roll out onto my gel plate and press one side of the Play-Doh onto it. I place my paper on top as always and apply pressure with my baren. The result is a delicate floral design that I absolutely love. I repeat the exact same process using the other side, and while this print is beautiful, it's lighter than I expected, which I keep in mind for my next technique. The next experiment is with die cuts, which I definitely don't want covered in paint. I create my own designs with a heart-shaped nesting die. And you can also adapt your designs according to themes, like Christmas, birthdays, or any design. Rolling out more Play-Doh, I press the heart shapes into it, overlapping different sizes to create a layered effect. At first I use ink because I'm just lazy, and it's much easier and less messy. I roll out the ink on the gel plate and distribute the heart design on my plate. But when I pull the print, it's just too light, and I really want it to be bright and colorful. So I roll out blue paint onto my gel plate and press my heart design into it. However, I realize that the ink is still wet, so it mixes with the acrylic paint. But that's okay. As you'll see, it gives me amazing results. The only mistake I make though is that the acrylic paint dries too quickly and there's barely any paint. This tells me that I need to adjust my approach. But this paper is not wasted as I will use it soon on another technique. And so since the blue paint is already dry on my gel plate, I layer white acrylic paint over it, place my paper, and press it with my bare end. This time I set it aside to dry completely before pulling my print, as I know from previous experience that this method should reveal a vibrant, colorful print. While it's drying, I'm ready to do the next experiment, which is to use Play-Doh to capture textures from large objects that you could not use on your gel plate, like furniture. To keep my pieces clean, I roll out 2 fresh sheets of blue Play-Doh before pressing them onto different surfaces. I go downstairs into my living room and press 1 piece of Play-Doh onto a wicker texture cabinet and the second piece onto a kitchen vent cover. The textures they pick up are incredible and I can't wait to try them. Back upstairs, my print is dry and so I pull it off my gel plate. The colors are bright and stunning, just like I imagined. Now I'm ready to use my imprinted Play-Doh designs from downstairs. I roll out black paint onto my gel plate and press the wicker imprint into it. The texture is mesmerizing, and I can't believe how well it imprints onto my gel plate. I take a purplish print from my stash and press it over the design. And since the black paint is still wet, I can pull the print immediately, revealing an intricate woven pattern. For my second design, I apply bright blue paint onto my gel plate. This design had much thicker imprints, so when I press the Play-Doh, it imprints so nicely onto it. This time, I don't take the print right away, but layer lime green paint before pressing my paper down. Once I press my paper, I let it dry completely. And in the meantime, I try a technique I've been wanting to do for years. I roll out my pink Play-Doh and press various paint brushes into it. They each create the most interesting marks. It looks just like a homemade stamp, and I can't wait to use it. But I need my gel plate. So with my previous print dry, I pull it from the gel plate, revealing another beautiful layered effect. Now it's time for my paintbrush background. I roll out black paint onto the gel plate as I want to create contrast. I press my Play-Doh design onto it in different directions so to fill out the whole plate. Then I apply turquoise and lime green acrylic paints and roll everything smooth with my brayer. I place my paper down and let it dry. In the meantime, I want to mention that I'm offering a free PDF download with details about each print. You can find the link in the description. Now I pull the print and it's absolutely stunning. Using Play-Doh on my gel plate offers so many creative possibilities that I'm actually addicted. And if you love this technique, check out my next video right here, where I create even more DIY stamps in the most unexpected way.